Did you ever find that intro music ever again? Did you really? My man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. It kind of fit, dude. It kind of fit. Like, it, did you put season? Did you put season two on there? We live? Are we live? Holy crap!
There, it happened again. I pressed the mute button on myself again for
Oh,
fucking idiot. But, yep, there it is.
we are live. Large and in charge. Hell yeah.
Yo, there's captions too. Holy, hey,
Hey, baby girl.
you do your job. You're secure. Your security.
Yeah.
Oh
Just
man,
hold the fort down for you.
yeah. She has to. Yeah, man. What a week, man. How was your week, brother?
I mean, overall, it wasn't too bad. Finished out another class cycle at the NCO Academy. So we have another round of graduates ready to become sergeants and non-commissioned officers in the United States Army. So good for them, and congratulations to all of them, obviously. Um, oh man, other than that, fairly mundane. I want to say fairly mundane.
Yeah,
I don't want to say nothing happened, but I guess anything that did happen would be, I guess, more deeply personal in my life. So it's not really worth talking about on a podcast, right? So
yeah.
it's
I
kind of like,
I hear your guest host. He's back.
yeah, yeah, that's Artie. Yeah, I apologize for Artie, but
Artie.
Artie's a good bird. One of these days I'll bring him on the podcast. He can
Oh,
say his name and he can whistle, so he's a pretty cool bird.
that's
Bird.
funny. Yeah, for me it was a pretty,
Artie,
it was a pretty, chill week. I got me, my wife. And excuse me for thinking that this was false advertising because I bought this. It's called the. My wife got me the Game and Watch. So
oh, what is that?
so
What is that?
apparently in 1981 they came out with these things and they had like different games. Pong, Dig Dug. But this one specifically has. I think this is the first one of its kind that has Super Mario. And
Oh, badass.
yeah, it's pretty
That's
light.
really,
It has a little charging thing on the speaker. You play Super Mario 1 and Super Mario 2 the Lost Levels.
that's
It's
badass.
got a
That's
clock on it, but Game and Watch, I thought it was a fucking watch.
one of my proudest moments in gaming came when I was a very young, like elementary school age kid. I was blessed enough and fortunate enough to have a super, or not a Super Nintendo, a Nintendo Entertainment System that my parents had got me, and I got so good at Super Mario Brothers I could beat the whole game in with one life. And one day went to this daycare. My parents had to drop me off at this daycare, and me and my sister had gone there, pretty regularly when we were a lot smaller. But there was this one particular day we hadn't been there in a while, but my parents needed babysitters for like a day, right? So my sister went to her age group, whatever, and I went to mine. Well, my age group, by the time I got to that age, they were doing stuff like renting Nintendo from the video rental place like next door, right? And so they rented an NES, and everybody got a turn. You got one life to play on Super Mario Brothers, right? And so when it was my turn, guess what happened? Like, and by the end, like I beat the whole game with one life, and all the kids were cheering me on because a lot of them had never seen Super Mario Brothers be beat.
Yeah,
And so like a lot by the end of it, they were a lot of them like I was using the warp tubes and like I beat the crap out of the game like easily, like handily. And everybody was like cheering me on. It was a lot of fun
that's
at a daycare, right? And I still have that memory in my head,
I
beating Super Mario Brothers with one life.
I love that story because like I didn't learn about like some of the little secrets until I was a bit older, like in my teen years, like when you could jump over the fucking levels to go to level 5, and then you could beat the whole game like that, which I always thought like, holy crap, that's pretty cool. I've never been able to do it myself, but one day I will. And it's funny, while we're in the talk of like older games, my wife hooked me up with another game, and it's Let's Go Pikachu. And
Okay.
surprisingly, I have been completely addicted to the fucking game, and
Okay.
and
Tell,
it's
tell me more. I missed the whole
the whole
Pokemon revolution. Like
yeah,
I was
so
a little too old when it came out, and you know, and I'm a little bit too old now probably to give a crap about trying to try again or whatever. So
yeah,
what?
and
Tell me about it.
so I grew up in the height of the premiere of the American version of Pokemon, and I had the cards, I had all the games, and this one particular game, it was always kind of like, okay, playing back in the day, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. I've always
Mhm.
wanted a Pokemon game in better graphics growing up. I'm just like, that would be really cool if they did that. And lo and behold, Let's Go Pikachu. They also have another one, Let's Go Eevee. It's a carbon copy of Pokemon Yellow, and I'm just like, whoa! Like I'm going through all the levels, like I'm playing it, like I'm 10 years old again. I'm like, oh shit, this is pretty good.
Right. Right.
This is pretty
You're
good.
like playing the game and finding yourself like strangely addicted to the game, basically.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, holy shit, it's this is Pokemon Yellow and better graphics. So it's gotten really fun. I wish I had a capture card to stream it because that would be really fun to be able to do. Great game though. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I have a couple
Good.
friends that buddy of mine, Swearingen, who was my foxhole buddy in boot camp. Been giving me
That's what's up.
a bunch of tips. So thank you for that, buddy. And
That's
it's a cool game, especially and it's two-player too. So if you have kids and you want to sit there on the couch with your kids, give them the other remote and they'll play with you.
is it just me or somewhere along the line did everybody forget that video games are supposed to be fucking fun?
Yeah,
Like, it's like it doesn't have to be this like rage fest, where you spend 150 hours of your life, you know, seeking out that minimal stupid last little achievement, like, you know, make kill three characters at approximately 6:30 on a Thursday in game time. Like who
yeah,
gives a like how about can the game just be fucking fun?
yeah.
You know?
And the best part
Like,
about this, and this is something you're gonna enjoy. There's no in-app purchases. There's no in-game purchases. You don't.
got a lot.
You don't. It's not pay to win. You don't need money to buy. Everything that you have to get is in-game, and they're pretty generous with the points too. So I mean,
Yeah.
have at it.
I like that a lot.
You
I like
know,
that. I like that a lot.
yeah, the only thing that's been going on this week, if everyone's noticed, we're waiting for Sean to come back from his trip, and
Mhm.
yeah, and I'm always surprisingly always reeling in these Marvel shows, and
Yeah, I remember you texting me about that. Was it
it,
you talking about Falcon,
yeah,
Falcon and Winter
Falcon and the
Soldier?
Winter Soldier. It is, we're in episode 2, man, and
That one I might be a little bit more prone to
then
watch.
WandaVision.
And I'll tell you, here's one. You might have seen my post on Facebook, but dude, it's on Netflix right now, dude. It's called Bad Trip. And did
Oh
you see
yeah,
that?
we were gonna
Dude, that
we were gonna watch it last night. And it's funny because when I'm at work, I throw on my headphones and I listen to a lot of fucking radio. So
right.
Eric Andre has been on almost every channel that I've been listening to for the last like 2-3 weeks,
Good.
and he's been
He's,
promoting the
he's
shit out of this movie. And the one thing he keeps on
dude.
talking
It's
about is the gorilla scene. That I'm just like,
it's fucking dude. That's the really funny part. That's not even that part is fucking hilarious, but that's not even the funniest part of the movie. Like not even close. Like that the whole I don't even want to like ruin anything because it's like the whole movie is just fucking hilarious because it's
yeah,
like they made a movie. It's almost like Borat where there is a plot, and there's a storyline, but all the different scenes involve just random ass people
yeah.
put into random ass
I
situations and have to deal with
actually
like all these crazy characters. You know what I mean?
I actually believe Jeff Tremaine is a part of this team that made the movie.
He might be. He
Yeah, but
might be.
it's a very interesting story that he was talking about though. Like there's this deleted scene with Chris Rock, and
Oh, really?
in the deleted scene, Chris Rock was a police officer. And they picked up a hitchhiker and they planted all the drugs in the hitchhiker, but that the hitchhiker recognized Chris Rock, and the whole
Oh,
thing. But what's very interesting about the story that Eric Andre was saying was that he was so he worked so hard to get this movie made. I think he said it took about 6 or 7 years to get this whole
It
thing.
doesn't it doesn't surprise me because
No,
there's when you talk about doing like jackass style stunts and having just like literally random people, like it can get dangerous.
yeah,
And
and
so you have like you have busy first off you have to have the whatever business establishments that you want to film your
permission.
scenes in. You have to have permission from them,
You
which
need
becomes a liability on them. Like
NDAs.
yeah, India non-disclosure agreements. Like you got shit where like there's a lot that goes into this that a lot of people don't realize, and a lot of the stuff and you can see it in a couple of the scenes, and there's a couple outtakes during the closing credits. Like people get violent, like people fucking will start swinging on you, and you got to
Yeah,
be really really careful. You are literally dealing with strangers, and the movie is fucking amazing. It's hilarious as fuck. Like I highly
I
recommend
heard it
it.
was brilliant too. I
It,
heard it
it
was
is
brilliant.
it's very it is comedic genius. And if you've ever seen the Eric Andre show, he has a very different flavor of comedy, but it
Yeah,
works. It's different, but it works. And
and it's so
you
cool.
know,
It's so cool
yeah,
hearing his story too, because he talked about how he was trying to get the movie off the ground. And they were gonna have a red carpet premiere. They were gonna have all this shit, and coronavirus happened, and it just stopped
right.
working. Hey, baby.
Yep. Aw,
Oh, okay.
princess. She trying to dress up like a
Yeah.
princess.
What are you trying to
Princess
What are you
Day.
trying to do with that? Okay, so just put it somewhere. Okay. All right. I'm working. Okay, baby girl. All right. I love you. She's showing off now.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So that's but yeah. So I do have to watch it. I'll probably watch it today. I have some time. Good old.
I
It's
yeah,
God's day.
I know, yeah, I know I know you're not drinking at this time, but I would recommend maybe because you partake in the medicinal
Oh
cannabis, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. And
I
there's
would
always
recommend
there's
I'd
always
recommend taking a couple of big puffs on that and prepare to laugh your fucking ass off, dude. Prepare to laugh your fucking ass
I have
off.
to check that out. And that's a good suggestion. My suggestion is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I can
The first episode, I would be like, oh yeah, everybody go check it out. It's good. If you want your typical Marvel action scenes, go check it out for that first episode. But the one thing that was really special about that first episode was that we see a lot of. I'm not going to go through spoilers. We see a lot of issues that a lot of veterans go through: financial
okay.
issues, PTSD, nightmares, shit like that. So it really in that first episode really dives into that, and it's really cool. But then what's really special is the action sequences are very. When you watch a military movie, there's a specific type of action in these military movies. The angles are very specific. You
And,
know,
yeah, and
the
a lot of them, yeah, that's right.
so
Exactly right.
they use that type of cinematic experience with this show, and I mean it's a 50-minute show, so you're watching a movie, and it's so good. But the second episode just really, it was it adds in the perfect balance of comedy, drama, and Easter eggs, and like, oh, what the fuck, and
Right. Right. Right.
and I have to say Anthony Mackie and oh, and race,
Mm-hmm.
which they go through a very, very powerful storyline. Which, if you're a fan of some of the newer Captain America series called Red, White, and Black, it talks about a story about a specific African American super soldier test subject who was banished in history because of racial tensions in America. And I think this is going to be an important thing, an important grounding for the show, which I'm very excited for because it's so good. But there is nothing like the chemistry between Bucky and Falcon. It's incredible. If when I see these two, I think Quantum Leap. I think Night.
Oh, okay.
I think Knight Rider and Kit.
I, I remember Quantum Leap, dude. That's a very good reference there,
This
dude.
this dynamic duo. It has this very cool dynamic duo. You know, experience in it, and I'm just like, damn, this is really fucking good. Like, bring it on. So I'm ready, and I'm ready for the next 4 episodes. It's a 6-episode series, so
Absolutely. That's good. That's badass. And then, speaking of new movies, did you see the announcement? Did you see the
Oh,
announcement? My
oh,
game, dude. My game. Like, so when so for those of you guys that aren't
happening
as
so
plussed up on our
fast.
podcast, so we did a live co-stream with the video game awards last year. This is obviously during coronavirus, and this one game kept coming up. It was Ghost of Tsushima. And so I got curious enough that I went out and purchased the game, and then I've been playing the crap out of that game pretty much ever since. Beautiful game, amazing game. I can very obvious to see why it was up for so many awards. Well, now apparently they have announced that this goddamn game is going to get the movie treatment, but it's more what's more funny to me is not that it's getting the movie treatment, it's who the director is. And so the director is the same guy that did John Wick. And so you've heard all of your friends just creaming their pants
Yeah.
for the last like I don't know how many years over John Wick and John Wick 2 and John Wick 3 and hey, can Keanu fucking come over to my bachelor party and bukkake me dressed as John Wick, whatever, dude. Like because John Wick is so cool, right? Like
John
I
Wick.
I, I got it. I got it.
John
Like
John Wick.
Yeah, like it's like what do they call him in that movie? What was the boogeyman name for him in that movie? Do you remember? Was
Dude,
it like Baba
it's
Goa
yeah,
or like
it's been years since I watched
it just
those
like
movies.
it just reminded me of like the old Howard Stern, like oh Baba Booey, like oh Baba Booey's coming, and
Yeah,
it's Keanu Reeves
it,
playing John Wick. Hey Baba Booey, like
it's incredible. And what's incredible to me is how fast everything is happening for this
mhm,
game. The game just came out, not even
just last year. It was
yeah.
last. It just came out last year, and they just released the online version in October, which it's all like, yeah, it's almost April now, so it's been out for about 6 months, but still, they just released the online 6 months ago. It wasn't that long ago when we talk about like video game time, video game aging.
That's
It
incredible.
wasn't that long ago, and it's already been. Well, and you've got that thing on. It's on Netflix again. That the Samurai series that everybody seems to be all up its own ass. Like
Yeah,
fucking that
yeah, that's
Samurai
right.
series is badass. Like the history of the samurai.
It's probably going to be a lot of heavy inspiration from that show too.
I
A
think
lot.
well, and I think that was the thing that made the game was that their attention to detail. The sword fighting looked really really good. Um, the gameplay was really really good. So like I've mentioned it on here before. Like when I played the game, it made me want to get better at the game. If that makes sense, I wanted to get better at the game and get better at the moves. And I don't know. So yeah, John Wick's director is going to be directing Ghost of Tsushima's movie. So that was I guess big news this week.
Yeah,
You know,
and this speaks in volumes too, because I know that Hollywood has been trying to get into like the Asian market. They've been trying to get a crack at the Asian market for a long time. This is, and I know that they wanted to do that with the Atom for the Snyderverse. They wanted to make the Atom movie,
yeah,
which I would have loved to have seen. And there's just a special dynamic when it comes to these Asian films, but this film needs to be done right. You've gotten the respect
agreed.
of the mayor of the city for the developers to become ambassadors
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Tsushima.
yeah. Tourism ambassadors. That's right. Yeah,
You better do it right.
to Americans, by the way, not they were not Japanese citizens. They were Americans, and the mayor of the island of Tsushima made them tourism ambassadors. And this was based in a time that is historically fact. Like the game is set during a historical period in Japan when the Mongols attempted to stage an invasion of Japan from mainland China, basically. So
Yeah,
it's
there's a lot of history, man. A lot of history. That's what just makes this news so special, because now we're gonna get the samurai movie. I hope we have an all Asian cast. It's the only way it's gonna get done right. You know,
did I totally forgot to mention something about that game too, by the way. Like when you first start the game, you can go into what's called Kurosawa mode, and it's in black and white.
oh shit.
I swear to God, like I've totally forgot. Like I knew like you would nerd out on that. Like and
I
I
love that.
cannot believe it took me until today to like remember to tell you that. Like you can literally go into like there's different like video modes. So when you first start the game, it'll go into different video modes. And one of the video modes is Kurosawa mode, and it's basically like where the whole game is in
That
black and white.
filter, that's fucking. I love that. I love that. And you know, we've seen things like that in games before, but not as in depth. I would love to play a game, especially a game like that in Kurosawa mode. You know, there were so many inspirations, like in the Mandalorian, where one of the episodes was pure Kurosawa.
Oh, completely, completely, yeah. And they based a lot of the, I guess, the overarching theme of that first season was Lone Wolf and Cub, which was an anime.
Yeah,
Well, not an anime. It was a manga. And so, like, it's there's a lot of what I love a lot too is that a lot of the directors these days seem to be like homed in to like what the audience actually wants, which is what makes a lot of these TV shows and a lot of these movies like really hit home and really hit hard, is
absolutely.
because they're tuned into what the audience actually fucking wants. They're nerds just like us, right? They're fucking nerds just like us. And they grew up reading the same comic books, they grew up reading the same manga, they grew up watching the same movies. And so when they make an homage or when they do a throwback or when they do something, they know that like there's a percentage of that audience out there that's going to get it, they're going to appreciate it. It's going to be a great film, a great TV series, like a whatever, right? Like, and it's yeah, fuck yeah. I just say fuck yeah.
They're gonna do it right, and I mean, I think a lot of people are gonna be pissed off if they fuck this up. You know, and
Yeah,
if we look at the
probably.
history of video game movies, they tend to listen to their fans. You know, we went over this a couple episodes ago. They tend to
Yeah, we
listen to
did.
their fans. So
Yeah,
this,
I'm hoping yes, and I'm hoping that they do because just based off the video game itself, you have a movie by itself. You wouldn't even need to base it off the actual game. You could literally just base a movie off of the
the actual
historical
history,
events
yeah.
that occurred, right? If we're gonna base it off the game too, on top of that, yeah, like you need to listen to what the fucking fans want. Like
This is gonna be
you
good.
really, really do.
And
So
while we're
yeah.
talking about listening to what the fans want,
Uh-oh.
uh, GTA fans are over it. They're over it. We're done. They
It,
are.
uh, it took them that long? I quit like fucking 4 or 5 years ago.
And there
Like
was a new
how over it are
update.
they?
There was a new update. Rule the open roads of Los Santos and Blaine County during Biker Week in GTA Online. Get double rewards on biker work, blah, blah, blah. So people are coming out and saying,
Gives a fuck anymore.
GTA 6, where is it?
Yeah,
And
nobody gives a fuck anymore,
another
dude.
one says, bro, just drop GTA 6. Like,
Yeah, I was saying that shit like 5 years ago, bro. Like I remember when so I had GTA 5 on my 360 when it very first came out. So I do believe Xbox One was out, and but it was still released for the previous gen console, right? And I remember getting it for my 360. When I came home from my second deployment, this would be late 2016. My now ex-wife had got us a Xbox One, which was very nice of her, and she pre-installed GTA 5 on there. I replayed the entire game, had a great time. Great fucking game as far as the campaign, right? The online can suck my dick, dude. Like they like
yeah,
what a shitty toxic community. If you didn't have friends, which at the time I didn't have friends online to play with,
yeah.
like if you were alone trying to play online in that game, like good fucking luck. You're gonna get nowhere fast. Too many fucking hackers, too many problems. I just fucking quit. I put the game to the side. I said I'll wait till GTA 6, right? And that was literally like probably like 2017, early 2017. I got sick of it and put it down. So that's what 4 years ago now. It's like I literally haven't touched this game in like 4 years. Red in that time since Red Dead Redemption 2 has been released. Amazing fucking game. Also has an online game, which I won't touch it because Rockstar doesn't give a fuck about their online shit.
You have to
And
see
I
this.
what is it? What is it? You might have sent me on my phone. What is it?
Can you see?
Oh shit. Yeah, dude.
They're saying just delete it. Just delete it. Get it
Delete it.
over with.
Just delete it. Yeah, just delete it. Get it over with. Fuck you, GTA. Fuck you, Rockstar. Rockstar used to be the good guy. You turned into everything you hated. Like, you fucking assholes. How dare you?
Yeah, one person actually says here, you guys need to remember that Red Dead Redemption 2 just came out 2 years ago. But sir, you need to remember those are two different teams.
Yeah, that's like,
For
well,
the
and
most
that's the thing
part.
too.
For the
Like,
most part.
I have no problem spending my money on a Rockstar campaign game. Specifically because of GTA 5, I will not play their online. I refuse to even fuck with it. Like, campaigns are amazing. Games like Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5,
They're
going all the
so
way back,
vast.
like games like Bully. You remember
Dude,
Bully?
dude,
They had
the,
they had amazing Rockstar always puts out the best fucking campaigns. But the reality is they've never done their online right. Like, not
yeah.
once. I've not seen them do the online right. And it's like, oh well, maybe you just need more friends to play with and it'll be more fun with friends. I'm like, yeah, maybe. But what about that fucking poor little bastard that don't got no fucking friends?
Yeah.
Right? That was fucking me a few years ago. So fuck them, dude. Fuck them.
I like that you brought up Bully because Bully was a very, very important game that came out after GTA. I think it was like after GTA 4 maybe
Yeah.
or maybe even in between 3 and 4. And when Bully
I
came
don't
out,
remember where it was, but I know Bully was like a setup game to help drive their engine
yeah.
on whatever their next GTA game was. So like they
And
literally created a game to help assist them on their next GTA game.
yeah,
Literally
Bully is still $30 wherever you fucking go first off. You
right,
know,
which speaks volumes about replayability.
I okay, so the game came out. Let me look this up real quick. So the game came out a long time ago. Bully Rockstar. I want to say 2008,
No, I think it was.
2006.
I was gonna say it was before that because yeah.
Bully came out in 2006. Okay,
Yep.
I have never beaten the game. I've never beaten the game, and
Really,
I have it, and it's
bro,
such a you know what I'm probably
bro,
gonna and you know what
bro.
I'm probably gonna end up downloading it now and streaming starting it from the beginning and streaming the whole campaign on fucking on the DD214 page because that's a game that I mean you could skateboard, you could ride a bike, you could throw slingshots, you could have a beach house, you could go to school, you get in trouble for not going to school.
Mm-hmm.
You could throw kids in lockers and garbage cans. That game had so much foundation, and it was so different. I will always enjoy Bully, and it's so I can't believe it. It's so I'm getting like this like nostalgic feeling in my stomach right now, where I'm just like fuck, like I need to go back and play. I need to beat that game. I have to go back and beat that game.
That's right.
I
I,
probably
I would I would I would agree with that. I would actually say like dust it off, like do what you got to do and finish it, man. Like it's not that the ending is like that great or anything. It's just like give yourself the satisfaction. It's a great game.
yeah.
Like
I've been
at least
playing
give
it
yourself the satisfaction.
12, 13 years now. 13 years. I'm coming for you, Hopkins. I'm coming for you.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Before I
What else
guess
we got in gaming news today?
we got well because there's going to be a lot of Call of Duty stuff here.
Oh, here
So
we go.
we'll get into the we're going to get into Hitman, the Hitman TV show. Um,
Wait, what?
it's a
T-
Hulu. Yeah, Hitman. It's a Hulu exclusive.
Oh boy.
But
Uh,
and you know it's
I'm
there's something
yeah.
very interesting here that a lot of
I'm a little
people.
bit. You know what? It's one of those things where
The
I
movie
I could
wasn't
see
that
it,
good.
I could see it work if they did it right. Like you play it like Mandalorian. You play it like some of the other great TV shows they're doing.
It's
You
actually
could do
funny
it
that you
right,
say that.
but it's hard enough to make a video game into a movie in the first place. Trying to stretch it into a fucking TV show. Like what's your storyline? Like I get like Hitman Blood Money. and some of those, like, there's a couple of really really good Hitman games. Don't get me wrong, and there's great storylines in there. But when the fuck have you ever seen a producing studio ever follow the storyline of the actual game? You know what I mean? So that's what I want to know. Like, like it's hard enough to make a movie. Like, how are you going to get a TV show out of that? Like, is it going to be like an assassination per episode where he has to like dress up, and like, man, I'm super iffy on that, dude. I'm super fucking iffy on that. That's a what are your thoughts on that, John? I'm really not very sold on that, but what are your thoughts on a
Um,
hit TV show?
well, on the hit TV show, so I didn't think the movies were all that great. And actually, I just want to say, Alexander Lear. They need to. I don't know if I think he did. Ghost of Tsushima have live action commercials?
In what part?
Like
No,
just commercials, regular
no.
commercials. I think he made me talk about Ghost of Tsushima. All the comments just came in, guys. I'm sorry, they just came in all in a fucking like tizzy.
I can't even open them up. I'd have to minimize our,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I can do.
it's actually
Let
funny. Everything just came in,
me get on
and
this. Let me get on.
actually, Alexander Lee. We're gonna go back to Ghost real quick. He says
Yeah, go ahead.
that it was great. It had so many layers, like an onion. Oh, he's talking about Bully. Yeah, Bully.
Okay.
They need to get the people who shot the live action commercials to produce the show. Those commercials were really well done. All right. Oh, he's talking about Hitman. Okay, he's talking about Hitman.
Hope we are caught up.
All
Hope
right.
we are.
So he is right. I do remember those commercials that were very intense. It doesn't say anything here about an actual actor playing the part, but here is the controversial part of the Agent 47 show. You ready for this?
Waiting.
He's gonna have hair.
See, right there, like right fucking there. That's dumb as shit. That is so stupid. That is so like that's the dude. That is the exact shit we've been complaining about. The whole. That's like when, and I hate to say it because it's not a race thing, but it's like when they made the Dark Tower movie, and you've got 7 books worth of material, and the dude is like a Clint Eastwood esque cowboy, right? And when Sony decided to cast, what's his name, Idris Elba, great fucking actor. Nobody's gonna fucking deny that, right? Like, but when they cast him, I immediately knew it was gonna fail. And a lot of people on the internet were like, "Well, you're all fucking racist," and you're all, it's like, no, 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 not. It's not a race thing. I just read the fucking books, and believe it or not, like race was an issue in the books, and
Really?
yeah, it was, and like when you've got 7 books worth of material and you whittle it down to 95 minutes and you make the main character like a completely different race than which I don't even really believe in race per se, but when you completely change the story like that much right off the bat just with your casting,
Yeah.
it's easy to see it was going to fail. you know there's an element of that story where having Idris Elba play that character would have worked, but they would have had to have established the storyline first and then brought him in like later, like in like a TV series or
Yeah.
another part of the movie, like a second or a third movie type thing, which they didn't because Sony fucking sucks and they fail at everything. You can hand Sony a fucking giant diamond, and they will hand you back a polished turd. We've established this many fucking
Yep.
times on this show.
Yep.
Like the fact they want to give the hitman hair, right? Agent 47. Like, please stop fucking insulting my intelligence. Like, holy shit. Like, let me ask John. Ask me if ask me how I know this fucking TV show is gonna fail. You know what I'm saying,
You
bro?
know,
Like,
and then,
bro,
and you know,
bro,
there was
come
one
on.
there was one thing here that they said. It says here you're introduced to a guy who's very much the hitman we know from the games, but he's got a full head of hair and he's independent. He's a handler. He's got a life. He's very much that early '80s, late '70s assassin we read in the books. But at a certain point, he gets a gig that unveils the reality that no choice he's ever made has been his own. And of course, the show ends with him at a mirror finding hidden under his skin the barcode. So suddenly it becomes a mystery of who am I really? Jason Bourne did that to excellency. This is more of what is true in regards to the people in my life. What has been manufactured? What are thoughts? It's the nature versus nurture of it all. But he says here that the big reason that he'll have hair is to hide the barcode on the back of his head, making the discovery a vital part of the plot of the show.
Okay, I'm not okay. Story wise, I'm
It,
not going to say that's necessarily a bad direction to go.
it's weird.
However, it kind of like really goes against a lot of what was in the games though, and that's where I'll leave it up to them, and I guess we'll watch it and we'll see if they fuck it up, right? We'll see if they fuck it up. I
Absolutely.
see I see your comment, Alex, there about Lord of the Rings, and you're absolutely right, and I definitely want to reiterate, like when anytime there's a movie or a TV series or any type of adaptation off of a very beloved, you know, comic book, uh, a readaptation of an old movie, video games now in our generation, you're gonna have people critiquing literally every last fucking thing, right? Like I can agree with that, and that's you're never gonna get away with that entirely.
No,
But if you do, but if you do it right, when 90% of everybody that watches it thinks it's badass, it's gonna shut the detractors up pretty fucking quick, and that's the difference. And I really hope the idea that they're having here with this with Hitman, I hope it works for them. I do. It's because it's very very different than the actual video game, obviously.
Yeah, and,
So
and the one up I do have is that it's going to be Hulu. Hulu has come out with some really good shows. I'm a huge fan of The Handmaid's Tale that my wife got me into, and Hulu gets the work done, so I'm going to give it to them.
Hulu is like what Netflix was like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
You remember when like
they're
Netflix
taking
was coming out
charge.
with like all the badass shit? Yeah, like Hulu is like yeah. But you're right. Like I hope they do it.
Yeah, and it's funny that we're talking about Lord of the Rings because I just have in my head this scene in Falcon and the
Oh
Winter Soldier where Bucky says that he read Lord of the Rings when it came out in 1937.
yeah. Well, and it's true, and I like what Nikki just said too. Like a movie has to be adapted from a book basically, and but they did such a goddamn good job with Lord of the Rings, and you're talking about like 3 hour movies in the theater. That's disregarding the director's cuts, the extended cuts that were made,
Yeah,
where like every single one of them was like over 4 hours. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen the director's cuts. I'm not I'm a reader. I'm a bibliophile, and I could never get into Lord of the Rings as a book. Right? Believe it or not, with all the books I've read in my life, I could never get into it. But those fucking movies sucked me the fuck in. Like, and Peter Jackson did an amazing job on those movies by sucking in the people, especially like me, that like I tried to read The Lord of the Rings. I tried to read The Hobbit. Tolkien's writing style just never spoke to me, I guess personally. Not saying he's a bad writer, just saying it never captured me. But by God, the movies did. The fucking movies did. The movies sucked me in like a black hole, to where I was sold out. I was done. Like, great fucking job. Like, so
and Peter Jackson is a
good job, Peter
visionary.
Jackson.
He,
Like,
one of my favorite movies, District 9. Peter Jackson was a producer on that film, and there's a sequel coming out. There's a sequel coming out called District 10. Get ready for it, guys. But Peter Jackson is great. Like Alex says, 3 hours in the theater while keeping people's attention is an achievement. I didn't watch The Lord of the Rings in the theaters. I actually watched. We watched it with my wife and my in-laws, and the Two Towers. I love the Two Towers. That was my favorite one. And I remember watching all of them. We watched them back to back, right? Yeah, we watched them back to back, and I was like, "This is fucking incredible." And what's actually really cool, a trailer just got released, I think yesterday, for the new Golem game that's coming out. So if you guys are fans of that, I believe that's coming. I could be wrong. I believe that's a PlayStation exclusive. Go check that out. Now the Call of Duty news. Before I get to the Call of Duty news, um, thank you everyone for coming by. And there is someone in our chat, Alexander Lear, U.S. Army veteran, who's actually my childhood friend. We've known him for Jesus Christ. I can't even tell you how many years. Probably he's one of my oldest friends. He just opened up a business called Blaze Online. They are a distributor for Delta 8 THC CBD products. Delta 8 is legal. It's not an illegal substance. It's something that it's I'm not a doctor. I can't explain it to you, but big shout out to Blaze Online. Veteran owned and operated, Blaze Online provides only the highest quality federally legal hemp derived Delta 8 THC products online to participating states with specials offered to our local community of New Jersey residents. We always want to shout out our veteran owned businesses. If you got one, let us know. We want to know what you guys got, and I love you. Kiss me,
Absolutely.
I love you. We're live, people. We're live.
Shit. Thank you, Alex. Alex, thank you very much. And hey, Alex, thank you for your service. Hoa.
So it's and then brand new company. I'm waiting for my box. I know it actually should probably be here any day now. So I'm waiting for it, man. I'm very proud of you, buddy. And now to the bread and the fucking butter. There is some interesting Call of Duty news coming out. More of the boring Call of Duty news, in my opinion, coming out is that Warzone is reportedly turning into a World War II map. That's one.
Boring.
I don't know. I mean, we got the cold. There was this whole hype. Oh, the map is gonna go into a Cold War map, and we got this Alcatraz remake, which was nice. It was nice. I appreciate it. But I was pretty convinced that the whole fucking map was going to be changed. I mean, when we played the Cold War event, it really seemed like there was going to be a whole new map to explore on. And then, you get a glimpse of that in Cold War while playing Outbreak. But we're just not getting nothing. Where the fuck is our new Warzone map, assholes? And I don't want to. If you're finally gonna do this, can you give it to us already? Because I mean, you still haven't given me a reason to pay for the battle pass. Now I'm still not convinced. But now to the more interesting news. Now some people may find this boring. At first I thought this was kind of boring. Until some,
sorry, I don't mean to be such a dick. I don't mean to be like that edgy, asshole, fucking. But it's just like when you hear stuff over and over again, all the time, and it's the same shit over and over. It's like you just get jaded.
Yeah,
you just get jaded.
Now, okay, Sledgehammer is reportedly developing the next Call of Duty game. Awesome. I like Sledgehammer. They worked on Modern Warfare 3. They did World War 2.
Right.
And World War 2 was a great game. But we're going back to World War 2. Apparently. This is just a report. This is a major rumor. And usually a lot of these rumors seem to stick.
I don't know if that would be the worst thing in the world for the Call of Duty franchise. After seeing them literally shit all over the best Call of Duty game that's probably come out in the last 15 years. Just to push their fucking new bullshit game, being fucking Cold War, that was obvious, like vastly inferior to Modern Warfare. Like, I don't know that going back to World War II would be the worst thing. Yeah, I also don't know that I'm gonna play it. Like, after seeing what they did, after seeing what they did to Modern Warfare, I'm like, I don't know that I'm gonna spend any money on this franchise anymore. Like, that was the first person shooter that I played in like 15 years, and I'm probably just gonna fucking not play them again for a while.
Well,
outside of games like Doom and stuff like that, where I play by myself.
Well, what's interesting about this too is that the game is being made on the Modern Warfare engine, so that might be a nice. A lot of people seem to be happy about.
It might be fun.
You know, and trust me, World War II, I've been down that fucking rabbit hole. Holy shit. I don't know how many fucking times. I'm still finding things out about World War II that I'm just like, holy shit. You know?
Oh, dude, there was a lot. Oh, there was some, especially here in the United States, where a lot of the history that we get depends on which region of the country you grew up in. You know, like there's so much history of World War II that gets overlooked in our country because it
Oh my
wasn't our
god, man.
country doing it. You know what I mean? Like
We came in a little late, you know?
there was some shit that the fucking Russians did that is no fucking joke, dude. Like the entire Eastern Front literally was them, you know,
Yeah,
and
it really fucking was.
it really fucking was.
And then look at
And
what happened after the war
well,
ended. How much ascendance Russia had after that war.
it's
It's
correct.
you know
They literally sacrificed like like a no joke percentage of their population just to make sure that Hitler did not prevail. And when I
yeah
say sacrifice, I mean that literally. Like they literally
they
said,
sac
we don't give a fuck about like X amount percentage of our population. They can fucking all die
yeah
just to make sure that Hitler's not in charge. And like the United States did not do that. We were we were a little bit smarter about it. We built fucking atom bombs, right? Like,
yeah.
but let's but let,
We did it
but let,
quick and easy.
but let's be real. It says a lot about a populace. It says a lot about a leader. You know what? You know we're talking about ideals here, right? And it says a lot about the leadership in Russia at the time, which is obviously it was the USS. It was still the
Yeah,
USSR. You know, it says a lot when you're willing to literally just throw millions of lives away just to make sure that the other guy doesn't win.
and
Like
this
that's
and this isn't just the Nazis. This was in Russian culture. This was in and if you want if you want to get a little more specific, even in American culture with cults, this is a thing that happens.
a
These
big thing.
people are
It's
idolized.
a big thing.
And
Yeah,
that's
like
one thing that I really would like to see.
do we not do that as veterans? Do are we like I mean it's a question you have to ask yourself. You really do.
Yeah, Alex says it here.
I,
Every civilian
am
in
I
Poland took up
yeah,
World War One arms to beat back the German line.
that's correct. That's correct. Like you have to ask yourself the question sometimes like am I willing to fucking die right now? Because if I'm not, I need to fucking gather up my kids and whatever small items we have and we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
If I'm willing to die, if I'm willing to sacrifice myself, well, then where's the front line? Like where like which direction do I go? Where am I needed right now? And that's a question a lot of people have never faced. They've never, I'm not trying to puff up us
no,
as a
yeah,
veteran community, but it's like a lot of people have not signed that dotted line. A lot of people have not had to make that choice, where I'm not in charge of my own life anymore. Like if a person who wears
this is
a
what it
certain
is right here. Yeah,
yeah, if a person that wears a certain symbol on their chest right now tells me to go in that direction and I take a bullet to the face, like that's it. But I was doing my job.
yeah,
Like,
and you'll get your 12
you know,
shots.
you might
You
if you're
know,
lucky, right?
yeah,
If you're lucky, right?
absolutely. And I think this all goes back to because one of my favorite Call of Duty games is one of their classics, World at War. It was the first Treyarch Call of Duty game that came out, and we had a casting. Gary Oldman was in it, you know, and he played Victor Reznov, which is my favorite character in the Call of Duty series. So I want to see more of that, even though that's more of like a Black Ops thing. But if we're
hmm
going back to World War II, I want to see we dove into the action, but I want to see the mental of some of this shit. And the one thing that makes this report so interesting is that the game takes place in 1951. World War II ended in 1945, 44.
So 45, August of 45. So wait a minute. So, well, the official surrender was in like September, but The war was over in fucking August, but
Yeah,
hold on. So are you talking about like an alternate timeline?
yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Like,
The rumor is that we're having an alternate timeline in World War II where the
okay.
war kept going, and there's so many things.
Oh,
There's so many things
okay.
that you could think about. You know,
Oh
you,
yeah, like atom bombs and like
you know,
you
because
know, like
because
freaking
I could assume that somewhere in the game they're gonna be like, okay, the atom bombs fell. What the fuck happened
right.
after that? Because the only thing you could think of is someone retaliating towards us, and then it's just
Maybe.
shifting a whole different way. And so I'm interested to see. And I'm a fucking slut for fucking alternate timelines. I'm you
Oh,
know
you
I
fucking slut.
you
You
know
fucking
I
slut.
I'm so when I read like comic books and stuff, and like one of my favorite comic books is DMZ, and it takes place on an alternate timeline if New York Island was closed off and turned into a whole different sovereign area.
Right. Hmm.
These timelines interest me, so I want to know what the fuck would happen if we didn't end that war. Did Russia say, okay, they're vulnerable, these motherfuckers are out there in Nagasaki, let's go take them out right now?
Right.
Or we're if we're looking around the time, Hitler, did he actually get to South America?
Well, you know what? Well, and the Germans were attempting to achieve success with an atom bomb too. What if the Germans got an atom bomb first?
This is
Like
crazy. And even Alex
straight
says
up,
Germany was so
that
close.
would have changed the game. That would
Yeah,
have changed like a battlefield nuclear bomb like would have changed the game. You could take out like an entire fucking division all at once,
dude,
like a
and
whole fucking division
even Alex
easily.
says it here. Germany was so close to beating us in the jet engine and missile game, just tech in general. We almost didn't go to war. If Japan hadn't attacked us, we would have never gotten involved. Yes and
Yeah,
yes,
there's that too.
and I
There's
have to
that too.
say too, what's very interesting is that I started learning about German engineering from Ramstein concerts.
Rammstein.
And I went to I think maybe 5 or 6 in my years, and
I saw Rammstein in the 1990s, bro. Would you believe me?
oh, and you want to know something that I bet you that their shows were just as extravagant then as they are
Oh, they were.
today.
Oh, they were. The only other band that comes close to a stage show like Rammstein is fucking ICP, dude.
Yeah, and I I remember thinking to myself like, okay, Ramstein, this is a fucking incredible stage. And I remember one of my uncles said to me, he goes, yeah, he goes, they're really showing their German roots. And I looked at it, I was like, what do you mean? He goes, they are probably the best engineers in the world. He goes, they make some of the best
They
creations
do.
and inventions ever. And I mean, let's go to say, our highway system, unfortunately, was it's
We did a really good job in the 50s connecting all 50 states
yeah,
with the Eisenhower plan for the interstate system was very, very good at the time. At the time, what we did not leave a lot of room for was
it,
population growth, population movement, population X, Y, and Z,
yeah,
to where we might need secondary, tertiary routes, like whatever. And that's the main probably critique of the Eisenhower interstate system. Great interstate system.
yeah,
Several countries around the world have modeled their highway systems off of ours. Um, they did a great job for the time. 1950, unfortunately, was 70 years ago. If you want to feel old out there, 1950 was fucking 70 years ago. If you were born in 1950, you are 70 years old now. And our population has greatly increased. And I love bringing up this factoid because everybody knows that China and India have the two most populous countries in the world. Number 3 is the United States. We are the third most populous country in the entire world, and people forget that. And with that comes a lot of issues with travel and going place to place and cars, and you have to keep up your infrastructure, and keeping up infrastructure for 330 plus million people is not an easy thing. And that's where we start talking about taxes and
yeah.
what we should be charged and what we should not be charged. And that's where people start getting into big old fights and having little political spats about what we should or should not be doing as a government, right?
Yeah.
Like, so we're not going to get into that,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, but the highway system, there are definitely lots of rumors behind the
And by the way,
influence of that.
Alex, I've seen Tool 3 times, so
See, I'm trying to
be
think.
jealous.
No, no.
Be even more. Tool 3 times.
Every time I think I see Tool, I tell myself, no, it wasn't Tool, you dumbass. It was Nine Inch Nails you saw. It's actually cool
You know
because
what? That's cool though, because I've never seen Nine Inch Nails, so that's really cool.
I saw Nine Inch Nails with Queens of the Stone Age at Madison Square Garden.
I saw Queens of the Stone Age was the last concert I went to with my best friend before he passed away, and it was less than a month before he passed away. And I treasure that concert. I treasure that band, and I own now the shirt that he bought at that concert.
No shit.
And so he got a shirt at that concert, and it's mine now, and I wear it. Like that was the last concert me and my best friend went to. Like it's a badass. Like here's Stone Age, right?
Man, actually, the last show I went to before coronavirus was actually my favorite band, Thrice. That was a treat. It was fun. It was my favorite band playing in my favorite venue, playing my favorite album in a full playthrough. That was like, and it's actually funny, Alex. I went to that Nine Inch Nails show with Perigene. I went with him. I went with Perigene, who's an old mutual friend of ours. Yeah. What day is it now? It's the 28th. So 3 days ago was Medal of Honor Day.
Yeah, 3 days ago was Medal of Honor Day. So there's been a lot of Medal of Honor recipients in, I guess, military history.
3,507.
I appreciate you having that number for me. Thank you. 3,507 men and women, believe it or not, because there is one female Medal of Honor recipient. Look it up if you don't believe me.
And 618 posthumously.
Yeah. How many? Say it again.
618 posthumously.
618?
Yeah.
I think that number might be off.
It sounds like it. I think this needs to be updated.
Well, here's the thing: the Civil War is what corrupts the numbers, because during the Civil War, I remember reading that there's a guy who got a Medal of Honor in the Civil War for capturing the enemy's battle flag. So the Civil War kind of corrupts those numbers. So if you take the Civil War Medal of Honor recipients out of it, and I would even surmise to kind of take the Indian Wars out of it, because of what we did to our indigenous population, our Native American population. So if you start at the Spanish-American War with the Medal of Honor and then go to present day, you'll get probably a better realization of like what it actually takes, or what actually goes into getting a fucking Medal of Honor. And it's a big fucking deal. And I was in the same brigade in the 4th Infantry Division in Fort Carson, Colorado, as the unit that partook in the Battle of Kamdesh, also known as the Battle of Cop Keating. 2 Medal of Honor recipients came out of that up to this point. A posthumous Silver Star recipient was upgraded to a posthumous Distinguished Service Cross, which is right below the Medal of Honor. All from this one battle. But just being in the same brigade as that unit made me proud. Like, I get to say I served in the same brigade as these like mecha badasses, right? That like had to fucking fight the Horde, right? And it's important to remember the sacrifice, I guess. The majority of Medal of Honor recipients up to present day are posthumous. They die during their actions. They do not survive. And the ones that do survive, obviously, have been through a lot, and they've experienced a lot, and they've I guess they've done something that we all hope we never have to do, but by putting their lives on the line and doing what they had to do at the time, they made it happen, and that's why they get that medal, and that's why they deserve their own day on March 25th, I believe,
March
was
25th.
National Medal of Honor Day. So it's important to remember. It's important to remember the best among us, and I guess that's John. What do you got? That's about all I got on that. What do
What's
you
that?
got?
What's actually really interesting here that a separate Coast Guard Medal of Honor was authorized in '63, but it has not yet been. It has not yet. It is not yet designed or awarded yet. That's a cool little interesting tidbit there. It also says
I
here.
don't know. I don't know if there's any Coast Guard recipients right
Yeah,
now.
that's what it says here. And it also says a separate design for a version of the medal for the Air Force was created in '56, authorized in '60, and officially adopted in '65. But previously, airmen of the Air Force received the Army's version of the medal.
That's correct.
Which, if you know your
Because the Air Force,
history, the Army and the Air Force, but
right?
they used to say the Army Air Force back in the day. So
Which also brings us to, the most recent Air Force recipient, which was in the war in Afghanistan, was Chapman, and he absolutely deserved his award. And it was, well, I don't want to get too political on our podcast, but it's a disgrace how long it took to get that guy his Medal of Honor. And if you
yeah,
want to read the story, read it on your own time, because I don't want to get too political and get myself in trouble by saying too much. But it's a disgrace that it took that airman that long to get the Medal of Honor. So that's about. I'm gonna have to stop right there before I get myself in trouble.
actually,
Verbally get myself in trouble.
Alex says here there was a staff sergeant in Afghanistan that gave his life holding of like 12 tangos while he caught the last mag at CQC as the squad evacuated in the helo. He got the Medal of Honor. It fucking well deserved. That's a fucking hero.
Alex, you need to look him up. If you Alex, look him up and give me that guy's name, because I probably know the story, but I'm not from your text. I'm not remembering the story that well. I usually keep up pretty good on my history, but a lot of them are posthumous. It's very unfortunate, obviously, but obviously they deserve the accolades that they get, and the ones that do survive, they carry a very heavy burden. There's a great Netflix series called Medal of Honor, and there's episodes on it, and they kind of recreate and dramatize, and they have interviews with survivors. And if you've not seen the Netflix series Medal of Honor, I highly recommend that you do. It's a great series. It's very informative, and a couple of the episodes you might want to grab a box of tissues. Just saying, like there's a couple episodes in there they'll kind of shake it to your core. So
When I think of the Medal of Honor, I think of my personal hero, Mike Murphy. And this was way before the book came out. Or actually, I think the book may have been. I think the book may have been out already by the time I was already in MEPS and doing all that stuff. But there was a couple. There were a couple factors that led me to the army. Personally, it was the birth of my son, and inspirationally, it was Mike Murphy and Restrepo.
yeah,
And the one cool thing
yeah.
that I actually processed in the same MEPS that Mike Murphy did, and they have
Did you really?
a beautiful, and like I get a little like teary eyed thinking about it. I'll never
Mm-hmm.
forget looking at that painting and realizing, holy shit, Mike Murphy was in this building that I'm
Right.
in right now. You know, and for all if you don't know who Mike Murphy is at this point, look it up. It's like it's he amongst other Medal of Honor heroes, he was a fucking hero. And when I think of the Medal of Honor, I think of a guy like that. I think of him. His story was just fantastic. And hey, uh, kudos to Taylor Kitsch for playing the part of Mike Murphy, because that's heavy that's heavy shoes to play. Uh, and actually,
When did he play that? What movie was that?
um,
What movie is
Lone
that?
Survivor.
Oh, okay.
He played him
Okay.
in Lone Survivor. And actually, if you guys are actually interested, Marcus Luttrell was actually a guest on the Joe Rogan podcast uh, recently. I think it was like last week, and he actually talks about working with him and all this stuff. It actually goes on about other people that we've heard about, like Jocko Willink, Chris Kyle, shit like that. So but yeah, Alex Restrepo was another major factor into me wanting to go into the military, along with Mike Murphy. Restrepo was a fucking crazy documentary, and it really dives in. Um, the last Medal of Honor, I think, was actually September 11th, 2020. I'm trying to see who they gave it to last. Doesn't say it here. And actually, that's why I have so much respect for the Medal of Honor game series too, which Steven Spielberg actually found and created the Medal of Honor series, which I just found out recently. And the one thing I respect about that series is that they want to put you in the shoes of the Medal of Honor recipients. Okay, I got the list right here. The last Medal of
It
Honor
was
is
it was Sergeant Major. It was Sergeant Major Thomas Paine,
Roger. Yeah,
and he was a Army Ranger. Give me a second here. Let me make sure this is called correct. Jesus fucking Christ! Yeah, as a fucking goddamn Ranger Sergeant Major. He deployed 17 times to combat zones as a member of the 75th Ranger Regiment. Jesus fuck! You just look up Sergeant Major Thomas Paine. Oh, what I'm reading right now is ridiculous. Like I've deployed 3 times, and I'm like more than proud of that, right? And
yeah.
this fucking guy, 17 times, 17 times to a combat zone. Like, are you kidding me?
It's
Are
crazy.
you kidding me?
And then it says I'm working on a graphic novel depicting the story of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. I have a bunch of history files compiled. What's interesting about Alex too is that he's a fantastic artist, and he's actually shared his art on in the group, um, depicting many service members. I can't wait to see the final product of that. And now, oh well, we still got. This is going to be a good topic to talk about to end the show because we still got 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
The Vietnam War Memorial Day.
Vietnam veterans, or excuse me, Vietnam War Veterans Day. Like, so tomorrow, excuse me, tomorrow on March 29th, Monday, is going to be National Vietnam War Veterans Day. I think that's how you say it. But it came to my attention, obviously, because I'm kind of active in my local VFW. I'm a life member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, um, and because my post happens to be doing a thing tomorrow for it. Um, it's obviously like on my mind, and but I never knew that this day was a thing. I didn't know there was a National Vietnam War Veterans Day. I never fucking knew that. I had no clue. My uncle is a Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart recipient.
Cool.
Um, did he did some shit. He was 11 Foxtrot, which nowadays is 13 Foxtrot, but back in the Vietnam era, it was 11 Foxtrot. Just like the Cav Scouts that are 19 Delta now used to be 11 Delta back in Vietnam. And so my uncle was an infantryman in Vietnam. My father was drafted, but because of a football injury in high school to his knee, he was designated 4F, 4 Foxtrot. So my dad didn't go. My uncle did go. They were both drafted out of, Podunk, Missouri, basically, like right outside of Kansas City, fucking Podunk, Missouri, during a time when you didn't have a choice. If you got the draft notice, you fucking went. This is not our generation of warfighter. It was like you got a fucking letter in the mail, and the government said you're gonna go fucking 7,000 miles away and fight. And it was a different time, and a lot of those young men and women that were forced and conscripted into service, they didn't get they didn't get what they deserved when they came home, because they
Even
were
to this
like
day. Even to
we
this day.
volunteered. We volunteered. Like I want to make that very clear that like our whole generation volunteered, right? Like we know, we acknowledge what we're signing up for. I've had people lightly talk shit to me, right? Like, I don't agree with the war. I don't agree with what you're doing. I don't agree. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I know what I signed up for. I know exactly what the fuck I signed up for. You ain't got to tell me. You think I'm a bad guy? You think I'm just out here to hold down an oil field? You think whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a fuck. I know what I signed up for. You know, there is no more blood. There's no more blood on my hands than there is on yours when you buy a fucking Nike shoe or you fucking purchase a goddamn fucking Apple phone. Because all that shit was made with fucking slave labor. So you can fucking think that I'm a big giant piece of shit because I know how to shoot a gun and because I fucking have no problem going to war and hey, let's be honest, because I like violence and maybe I'm good at it. So fuck you too, right? Like, but their generation didn't have that. Their generation got a fucking letter in the mail and they deserved a lot better when they came home. Whether people agreed with the war or not, it wasn't on the fucking service member, like it was never on the service member. They didn't have a fucking choice. They were conscripted. There were people that volunteered during the Vietnam War, obviously. But let's be real. Like, let's be really real. Most of them were conscripted. So, we didn't have like that. That's not. We don't even have to face that. That's not even a reality in our world right now.
Yeah.
And so, tomorrow is going to be National Vietnam War Veterans Day, and I'm really looking forward to going to my VFW in my VFW uniform, and I'm looking forward to listening to stories. I hear stories sometimes from some of the guys that I know at my post, and I'm looking forward to just welcoming them home. 50, it might be 50 years later, but you know what? Like, they deserve a good welcome home, because like every time somebody fucking thanks me, every time somebody says like I could never do what you do, all that stuff, like I appreciate it, but it like hurts my heart, because like I think about how many people like never got that. I think about how many people that had to fight through, like, depending on what region of the country, because there were regions of the country that were supportive, and there were regions of the country that did welcome their soldiers home in Vietnam, but there were also parts of the country that were very not welcoming at all. And depending on where you flew in and out of, you might, because back then they made them wear their dress blues, basically. They made them wear their dress uniform when they freaking fly. So, tomorrow let's welcome our Vietnam veterans home, and make sure that if you have a Vietnam veteran in your family, welcome them home, please.
My first um, interaction with a Vietnam
He's
veteran.
talking about, dude. Alex is talking about fucking Chapman. That's the Air Force guy.
Oh
That's
shit.
the Air. That's the Air Force guy. That's the Air Force. Alex, that's the Air Force guy I was talking about earlier. That's
Oh
Chapman.
shit.
That's Chapman.
Yeah, my first interaction with a Vietnam veteran, I was homeless. I've spoken about this a few times, and I saw this guy, and let me tell you, he looked exactly what you thought. Like when you see like some of these Vietnam veterans in the movies, he looked scraggly, he looked tired, he had one leg, but man, did that motherfucker have heart. That motherfucker had heart, and being homeless, would sit with him, and he would tell me all these crazy fucked up stories of what was going on in Vietnam. And this guy, walking around New York City asking people for change, one leg, he still has his original dog tags on. And you know, this was the first time in my life that I said to myself, this is how they treat our veterans. Now of course there's always other, other factors of why that person is in that situation. Not my business. I don't know. But he's not the only one. You have other, I remember sleeping in front of Madison Square Garden with my wife, and there was this guy dressed up in a suit I can't remember which war he fought in, but he was wearing a suit, and he was a lawyer, sleeping in front of Madison Square Garden, going to work the next day, sleeping in a box, and he would sleep right next to me.
Right.
And then
Right.
I would tell myself, like, oh shit, is this what happens after? And even today, like, haven't had a bad experience with the VA, but that's just me. It hurts me to see that a lot of our, and we're talking, we're not just talking about Vietnam, but let's think about how fucked up the Vietnam War was. And we're talking about physically, we're talking about mentally, and everything that comes along with it. And I feel like that the Vietnam War, our veterans, I feel like they have like the worst of the brunt. The World War II veterans, unfortunately, a lot of those heroes are they've had their time. Their time. They're in Arlington right now. Rest their soul. And now we're getting into the generation where we're getting into the Vietnam generation now, when they're starting to get to that age now. And
That's correct.
if we look at, if
That's
we can look at the numbers, and we can see unfortunate there's unfortunately no help for a lot of our veterans. You know,
Well, I don't want to say there's no help, because there are avenues of approach you can take, but it also depends
yes,
on where you're at. It depends on what region you're in. It depends on a multitude of things. And I would never ever discourage a veteran from trying to reach out for help ever, for any reason. But saying that, I can also acknowledge that there are, depending on where you're at in the country, if you've already dealt with a particularly not good place, why would you go back,
you
right?
get you get demotivated.
You get demotivated real quick, because you remember what it was like when you were in service, right? So, but I don't know. We can, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Vietnam is a really hard one, dude. It's gonna be our generation when we're looking back on, GWAT after 9/11. I have a feeling, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling I have a feeling we're gonna be looking back on GWAT like, there's gonna be a lot of why questions asked.
yeah,
There's gonna be a lot of why questions asked, and um, I I am I am personally comfortable with everything that I've done in the United States Army in the time that I've served. What hurts me is that I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people that aren't,
yeah,
and regardless of service branch, whether they were Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of other veterans that are not comfortable, and I don't really know how to that's exactly why I'm involved at my VFW.
yeah,
It's literally the reason. Like we form a community, but we're not separate from the civilian populace. We are doing the civilian populace a great disservice by not sharing our stories, by not letting them see what it costs to serve. If we don't tell people what the cost is, why would they volunteer in the first place outside of being 18 years old and young, dumb, and full of cum, right? Let's just be fucking real. If you want a 26-year-old male at the top of his game, to become a officer because he has a degree, how are you going to recruit that guy if that guy thinks that all you do is propagate bad shit around the world? Well, no shit, you're not going to get that guy, right? Like this speaks volumes about we have an all volunteer force, but that all volunteer force only works up to the point where people stop fucking volunteering, and it definitely keeps us, I guess, accountable to an extent. But if we don't change our focus, if we don't shift our, I guess, our direction of travel in the 21st century, I don't think we're going to be able to maintain a volunteer force for, maybe another decade.
Yeah.
Ish.
I agree.
Like what parent wants to send their kid to die fucking in a needless war? And I'm not saying anything that we've done since 9/11 is needless, but there's plenty of people that will fucking argue that point. There's plenty of fucking people that will argue that point.
Already got something to say.
Just like Vietnam. What you got, John? Go ahead.
I'm saying Artie got something to say.
Oh yeah, Artie chimed in. Yeah, you're right. Artie chimed in. Yeah.
Amongst all that, it goes to show that even though the result of the war wasn't in our favor, it goes to show that we're tough sons of bitches, regardless of the fact. We went in there and we got it done. We got some amazing heroes that tell their stories out of this. We got fantastic fucking movies. I mean, amazing movies during the Vietnam War. Even some comedies, like Tropic Thunder is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Good Morning Vietnam, anybody?
Good Morning Vietnam. We got Apocalypse Now. So many good movies and video games too. Call of Duty touched up on it. Cold War touches up on a little bit of Vietnam. We get some really cool stuff. And this is a war that I want to hear still being taught to in education for hundreds of years. That it goes. I think the a lot of people tell the story about being a champion and always winning, but that champion always loses.
Right.
And I think that's a important topic to understand.
There are ways to win when you lose, and there's ways to lose when you win. And I think that was the first time our country had to face that, as a country. Like when we were on the ground, we lost a lot of good young men and women, 58,000 plus in about 10 years of fighting. That's a metric shit ton. That is a metric fucking shit ton. We were losing 100 people a week at certain points in that war. Literally 100 people a week. When somebody dies in Afghanistan or Iraq or Syria today, it makes fucking CNN. When my buddy died in fucking Ghazni in 2011, it made fucking CNN. You know what I'm saying? Like when another kid died on my fucking third deployment, it made fucking CNN. You know what I mean? Like it's. Can you imagine losing a fucking 100? Can you imagine losing 1,000? Because that's exactly what it was like in fucking the Vietnam War. It's exactly what it was like in World War II. There wasn't enough fucking space in the newspaper to print all the names of the people that were fucking dying. And like, when are we going to realize how stupid war is? Like, how many people have to shed their blood? It's 2021 and we're still having this conversation.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, and it's one of those things where it's very unfortunate, but for some reason in 2021 it's still our reality. We still need people to step up, to take up the profession of arms and go be warfighters. Like, we should be doing like Star Trek shit right now. We should be exploring the solar system. We should be exploring the stars as like as like a whole united world, and we're still here with bayonets and goddamn bullets, taking pot shots at each other, fighting proxy wars. You know, like I think our species is better than this, but hey, I'm just a guy that's good at violence. So what are you gonna do, right? So
We all play our role, right? We all
we
play
all
our
play our
role.
role. That's right.
You know that you know that's it's like I always say, the simulation always has a part for you, man.
It really does.
It's and the final thought, man. Hey, Alex is right. War never changes.
War has never changed in 10,000 plus years of people fighting it. Good good people die needlessly, and bad people take charge freaking in the end regardless.
And this is why the
Doesn't matter.
aliens and this is why the aliens don't want to fuck with us.
That's probably exactly. If I was an alien, I'd be like, look at this fucking redneck bullshit, dude. Like, look at all these cousin fucking assholes, dude. Like, all they do is fight each other. Like,
Look at this sector. They're sending toys to a red planet.
right, right. Like, why would we fuck with this guy? Like, I'd probably just bomb the planet, like send an asteroid, like what was that, Starship Troopers?
Yeah.
Send like an asteroid, like,
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah, if I was alien, I'd be like, hey, come look at this shit. Like, look at this shit. You know? But yeah, and here we are, man. The final thought.
Yeah, so I just want to encourage everybody out there. I know sometimes things get hard, and I know sometimes we lash out at the people that we love the most. And I don't want to necessarily say that lashing out is okay, because it's not. But it's understandable. It's understandable that it happens. If you're finding yourself in a place where you are lashing out at the people you love, if you are in a bad place in your life, and your focal point is a lot of anger, a lot of disgruntled pride and ego issues, please put yourself in check, because there's a lot of people out there that love you very, very much. And this is not unlike the same message that we give every single week, especially if you are imbibing in potentially intoxicating beverages, right? Please take a minute and think about what you're doing when you start raising your voice to your children, to your significant other. And I want to be very transparent right here. Like, I'm extremely guilty of this at times. I have gotten into it really bad with people that I love very, very much, and they didn't deserve it. And it was me just lashing out because I didn't have another outlet, I guess. I don't know. And I want to let everybody out there know that you guys are better than a bar fight. You're better than fighting the people that you love. You guys are all better than that. And then obviously, as with every week, if you're in a bad place, please call somebody. It's not that hard. Just call somebody, make a phone call, reach out. There's numbers posted everywhere. Whether it's your best friend, whether it's somebody you love, whether it's a random person on a 1-800 number, who cares? Get help. If you know you need help, then just get it. Don't be a fucking pussy. Like, you weren't a fucking pussy when you were in, so why be a pussy now? Like, just because the universe isn't turning in your favor right now doesn't mean that, like, 10 years down the road it's not going to turn in your favor, because it will. The universe turns no matter what. So stop being a fucking pussy and just make a phone call.
Absolutely.
If you're in a bad place, seek help. It's okay to do it. We love you. The people that love you obviously love you. Okay, and Jesus hates a pussy. Okay, so don't fucking be one. Do the right thing before you fucking hurt the people that love you the most. That's all I got today, John. I'm sorry.
No, no,
No, no.
I think that's very
I think that's
important. You know, it's very important. Thank you everyone for being here today. Uh, Brighter days are ahead. We have special things coming, exciting things coming. Ian, Nikki, Alex, Jonathan. Oh no, that's me. My mom, um, Amanda. Thank you all for coming to the show. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Uh, we're gonna try to cook up something special, something real special. So,
I think
oh
everybody deserves it. It's season 2, bro. It's season
yeah,
2, bro.
the season two. We were working the kinks for season one. Now season two is, you know, you know,
Large and in charge, man.
yes, sir. So see you guys next week. Swallow the homies. Good night.
Swallow the homies goodnight every night, no matter what. You better swallow your homies goodnight. Watch Bad Trip. Watch Bad Trip. It's a great movie. You laugh your ass off.
Don't forget, guys.